How to tell when your team members that they're not ready for a promotion without knocking their confidence. This is a conversation a lot of managers avoid, especially when they really like the person. Someone on your team starts talking about their next step. It might start casually, a comment here or there about wanting more responsibility or where they see themselves going next. They ask about progression or a pay rise, a promotion, change of job title. You can tell that they've already made their mind up, that they're ready. In their head, they have already decided what to spend that extra money on as well. And part of you, is really pleased because you want people in your team who want to grow. But there's also another part of you that feels just a little bit uncomfortable because if you're being honest, they're not quite there yet. If you're new here and don't know who I am, I'm Louise, and I'm here to help you in your management career, sharing insights drawing from over 10 years of senior leadership experience. So I've been in this exact situation. Somebody I was managing had already been told by a previous manager that they were on track for a pay rise. So by the time it got to me, it wasn't just a conversation about progression. It felt like something had already been promised, which made it a lot harder because now I wasn't just managing expectations, I was having to undo something that had already been set. So key things are, don't delay. It only gets worse. It's very easy to delay this kind of conversation. You tell yourself, I'll give it a bit more time. Maybe they'll grow into it. Maybe things will shift naturally. Maybe it won't come up again for a while. And if you're honest, part of it is that you don't want to knock their confidence or feel like the person that's holding them back. So instead you focus on what's going well and you avoid getting too specific about what isn't quite there yet. But the problem with that is that none of that actually helps them because then they carry on thinking that they're closer than they are. They start to get frustrated when nothing changes. And when you do eventually have the conversation, it feels like it's just come out of nowhere, even though you've been thinking it for a while. The difference isn't whether the conversation is easy, because it rarely is, to be honest. It's whether the person leaves understanding where they stand and what they actually need to do next. But there's also another way to think about this. You're helping them understand what ready actually looks like, where the gap is right now. Without that, they are just guessing. When I've had these conversations, I knew I couldn't dance around with it. It wouldn't have been fair. So I approached it with more of a reset than a rejection. We talked through what had been said before, what they thought that meant, and then the expectations around actually what the next level looked like. There were things that they were doing well, and I made that really clear, but there were also some gaps that hadn't really been addressed. And that's the part that we needed to focus on. And it wasn't the easiest conversation I've had, but it was probably one of the most important because after that, they weren't guessing anymore. They had a clear path on what progression then looked like. If you know somebody who's struggling with this, be sure to send this on to them to help them out.